Fair use notice. This video contains user journey from the public-facing app. All material are used under fair use for the purpose of critique, education, and product assessment. A separate unedited recording of the full customer journey for every module reviewed in this video has been securely stored. Each recording, including verified timestamp and SHA 256 checksum to prove authenticity and prevent tampering. The purpose of this video is constructive assessment, not defamation, accusation, or misrepresentation. This analysis is based on real assessment I conducted on multiple live apps during specific review period, including MyIM3, Shopee, Grab, eBay, Verizon, MyTelkomsel Basic, and MyTelkomsel. That means the conclusion in this channel are not pulled out of thin air. They come from repeated observation, comparison, and documented review work. Second, these are real public apps, not mock-up or fake screens. I show the download process, so viewer can see the apps were installed and accessed from real device. Third, I disclose the device condition and internet speed so the test environment is transparent. That does not mean every delay is automatically the app's fault, but it does mean the review is not hiding behind an obviously broken device or unusable connection. Fourth, this content is presented for commentary, criticism, and analysis. Only the material necessary to support the review is shown. The purpose here is evaluation, not redistribution for the original product. I use a floating timer app to show that the master recording was captured in one full attempt, with no tampering or fabrication, since the timestamp is always visible. However, for publication purposes, I need to cut parts that take too long, contain private data, or are not relevant to this assessment. I show the device model and Android version specifications to demonstrate that the apps are running on a reliable standard device. It is not a high-end device, but it is also not low-end. It sits in the middle with average specifications, which helps show that the assessment was conducted in a controlled environment that reflects the majority of the market. I show the date displayed on my device system, January 10th, 2026. I also use time.gov to show through an external internet reference from a credible official US government site that the timestamp is correct, January 10th, 2026, which matches the date previously shown on my device system. I use fast.com as a credible consumer-facing reference to measure internet speed, particularly download performance to Netflix's network. It is suitable for practical connection checks, though not a complete engineering-grade diagnostic tool. I begin by showing what digital apps in the market currently offer to their customer base. I start with MyIM3 by Indosat Ooredoo, the digital app of the second largest telecommunication operator in Indonesia, my local market. The homepage is the first layer of customer experience, so it must be designed carefully and optimized for the cognitive load of the average user. Core services should be immediately visible and easy to understand, such as account information, balance or wallet, shopping access, and relevant featured promotions. The homepage should not contain redundant or repeated modules. Customers should be able to intuitively find what they need. And the placement of core services should remain consistent so usage habits can form over time. Practices such as forcing users to manually close multiple interstitial advertisements on the homepage while also overcrowding the page with commercial and engagement services without clear governance will damage the customer experience. They increase friction, distract from core tasks, and weaken trust in the app. Many loyalty programs still rely on fixed budgets and presentation-friendly reports without establishing a strong causal link between the program and the business outcome. Even though financial conditions, customer behavior, and market realities change over time. A stronger approach is to tie loyalty economics to financial reality, including net revenue, gross margin, expected redemption behavior, and cost to company, while setting tier thresholds around the customer value segments the business actually wants to retain and grow. That way, the program can be recalibrated as conditions change, instead of becoming a static cost center disguised as loyalty. Not having any loyalty or engagement layer in a digital ecosystem creates strategic risk, especially in a commoditized market. Once competitors offer similar price, similar data volume, similar coverage, and similar convenience, those things stop being true differentiators. They become the baseline. At that point, the business is no longer competing only on product utility. It is competing on retention, habit, trust, and emotional relevance. This is where loyalty and engagement matter, not as gimmicks and not as decorative reward points, but as business architecture. A well-designed loyalty system can reduce churn, increase repeat behavior, strengthen customer lifetime value, and create emotional stickiness beyond price. It helps the brand build preference that is harder to copy than a promo or a tariff adjustment. But this needs one important disclaimer. Loyalty alone does not guarantee better revenue or longer tenure. Product quality, affordability, convenience, and fit with customer needs still come first. Loyalty works as an amplifier. It reinforces good fundamentals by creating more moments of fair value exchange, more behavioral consistency, and more reasons for customers to come back. The real danger of having no engagement architecture is not just missing rewards. The deeper risk is that the company has no intentional way to shape repeat behavior, no own mechanism to anchor new users during the critical early months, and no structured path to grow retention into predictable revenue. In that condition, growth depends too heavily on reacquisition, short-term promos, and replacement of churned users. That makes revenue more volatile, growth projection less reliable, and long-term investment confidence weaker. A strong digital ecosystem does not trap users or overload them with gimmicks. It respects their time, attention, resources, and level of understanding. Then, on top of that, healthy foundation, loyalty, and engagement can be added as behavioral engine, one that builds habit, relevance, and trust over time. So the point is not that every app must immediately launch a flashy loyalty program. The point is that if a business operates in a market where the core offer is increasingly commoditized, then not building any retention architecture at all becomes a growing strategic vulnerability. Digital loyalty is one practical option to address that risk if it is measured, governed, and aligned with real customer behavior rather than vanity metrics. Before I go into the next telco case, I want to step back for a moment. Because this is not only about one brand, it is a broader digital product pattern. Across the live apps I reviewed, from telecoms to marketplace to service platforms, the same question keeps appearing. When an app grows beyond one core job, does it become more useful for the customer or does it simply become more crowded? Ambition is not the problem. Expansion is not automatically bad. The real issue is governance. The more functions an app tries to carry, the more disciplined it must become about placement, speed, clarity, and cognitive load. Because customers do not open an app to admire how many modules the company managed to add. They open it because they want to do something specific quickly and with minimum friction. And that is where many digital ecosystems start to drift. They begin with a clear core purpose. Then new services get added. Then new partner modules get added. Then promotion compete with utilities. Then the homepage starts carrying too many jobs at once. At that point, the problem is no longer feature count alone. The problem is prioritization. Core services should be instantly visible. Navigation should remain predictable, and non-core modules should earn their placement instead of automatically sitting on the front line forever. A healthy ecosystem does not try to make everything equally visible. It decides what deserves the home screen, what belongs deeper in the menu, what should sit in discovery layer, and what should be removed completely. Without that discipline, growth in features can actually reduce usefulness. This matters even more in mobile-first environments because a mobile app is not being used in perfect lab conditions. People use it outside. They use it while commuting. They use it when signal quality changes. They use it when they are distracted. They use it when they want the answer now, not after wading through a heavy interface. So, if a digital ecosystem becomes too bloated, too slow, or too visually crowded, it starts violating the very thing it was supposed to improve: customer convenience. And once convenience drops, trust starts to erode. That is why I keep repeating this principle. Core flows must stay obvious. Core flows must stay fast. Core flows must stay in the same place long enough to become habit. If an app cannot protect that, then expansion is no longer a strength. It becomes friction. Now, let's bring that lens into the Telkomsel case, because here the trade-off becomes much clearer. This company now shows two app directions at once: a lighter basic version focused on essentials and a much heavier super app version trying to do far more. That split alone is already a signal. When the same company needs one lighter app for basic reliability and one much broader app for ecosystem ambition. It usually means the tension between utility and expansion is no longer theoretical. It is already visible in the product. A telecom app is first and foremost a service utility. Customers come for core things: account informations, balance, wallet, package purchase, active plan status, and a few nearby commercial flows. These are not optional. These are the trust building core. So if the app becomes so heavy that even mobile network use struggles to load it properly, then the ecosystem is no longer respecting the customer's time, attention, or real-world usage conditions. It may look innovative on paper, but from the user's side, it starts to feel like friction. And that friction becomes even more obvious when the app tries to push naturally heavier experiences: video on demand, live content, TV channels, travel booking, health services, express delivery, and other partner modules. Those services may have business value, but if users can only enjoy them properly when they are already indoors and on Wi-Fi, then the mobile-first promise starts to break. A mobile app should not punish the user for trying to use it in the real-world conditions it was supposedly built for: outside, in transit, and on the operator's own network. Before I propose how this digital ecosystem and its loyalty program can be improved, I want to be clear about what this video is and what it is not. This is not content made just to point at flaws in someone else's work and walk away. Real products are built under constraints: market pressure, changing customer behavior, shifting trends, regulation, technical debt, and business compromise. Anyone who has actually built inside that reality knows there is no permanent, perfect answer that stays correct forever. Markets change, customers change, technology changes. What works today may need adjustment tomorrow. That is exactly why accountability matters. A real builder does not hide behind vague language once the work is public. A real builder stays close enough to the system to explain the logic, answer the pushback, admit the trade-offs, and improve the design when reality proves something needs to change. That is how better systems are built. I am speaking here as a practitioner, someone who has worked across telecom operations, technical environments, business constraints, and digital loyalty execution. I have seen ideas fail, seen ideas rejected, seen compromises made, and also seen what actually works in the field at a given time. So this video is not me pretending I hold some final truth. It is my proposition, offered honestly as one builder speaking to other builders. And that is also why I do not want to end this assessment with criticism alone. Too much content today stops at diagnosis. It points at the fire, names the problem, and leaves the audience with nothing practical to build next. I want to do the opposite. I want to end with action. If the system is too heavy, let's simplify it. If the navigation is cluttered, let's govern it. If the core journey is weak, let's strengthen it. If loyalty is missing, let's design it with discipline instead of gimmicks. This work is for people willing to look at systems honestly, measure them properly, and improve them with accountability. I'm not claiming perfection. I am offering a builder's proposition. Take what is useful, challenge what is weak, and improve what can be improved. But let's stop pretending that fluff, bloat, and vanity metrics are good enough. That is the spirit of this work. Observe honestly, measure carefully, iterate responsibly, and keep improving. So let's start there. Before I simplify the idea, I want to define the scope clearly. When I talk about digital ecosystem, digital customer loyalty, and engagement, I am talking about a business to consumer context where customers have the freedom to compare, stay, switch, or leave. This framework is designed for competitive markets, not for monopoly environments, government-mandated purchasing, or procurement-driven business-to-business contracts where customer choice works very differently. Okay, now let me simplify the idea so it becomes easier to imagine. Imagine one of the best cities you would want to live in. The public roads are clean, the lighting at night is good, the bridges are well maintained, there is no pollution, and the whole environment feels orderly, safe, and comfortable. Then you decide to have dinner at a nearby restaurant. The place is clean, the process is smooth, you get a table without unnecessary friction, your food arrives properly, and when it is time to pay, the payment works quickly and reliably. After that, you go to a nearby park or plaza. You sit down, read a book, spend time with your family, take a walk, or simply enjoy being there. That, in simple terms, is your digital ecosystem. That is your mobile app. The roads, lighting, and bridges are your utilities. In digital terms, those are your core services and your homepage experience. They may not always generate revenue directly, but if they are bad, they damage everything else around them. If the roads are broken, dirty, and badly lit, good shops will not thrive there. In the same way, if the homepage is cluttered, overwhelming, and hard to navigate, your funnel conversions starts breaking from the very first screen. Users already feel pain on the main page, so naturally they become less willing to explore your features, your offers, or your shops. Now think about the restaurant. That is your commercial service layer, the place where transactions happen and revenue is generated. A digital touchpoint is often one of the most profitable channels a company has because it can operate with less physical friction and better margin efficiency. That is exactly why trust matters so much there. Every transaction must be processed in the most effective, efficient, reliable, and transparent way possible. It must be fast, it must be clear, it must be transparent. No hidden add-ons, no pre-selected extras slip into checkout, no extra cost charged without clear customer awareness and agreement. And once the user pays, the system must deliver properly. Because if the user survives a bad homepage, but then faces a slow or unreliable purchase journey, trust gets destroyed even faster. And now think about the park or plaza. That is your loyalty and engagement layer. It is not there just to squeeze more money from people. It is there to create memory, meaning, identity, and a reason to come back. A good city is not remembered only because the roads function. It is also remembered because the experience feels good, human, and worth returning to. That is what a good loyalty program should do in a digital ecosystem. Not gimmicks, not noise, but emotional relevance, repeat behavior, and positive memory built on top of a healthy foundation. If the digital ecosystem is governed well, users come back more naturally. They can easily find what they need, they trust the journey, they remember the experience. You do not need to keep dragging them back with random gimmicks and repeated promotions. A healthy digital ecosystem reduces friction. A good loyalty program makes that experience easier to remember, easier to value, and easier to return to. Since this video is already quite long, I will only explain the high-level mapping of how this digital ecosystem and later its loyalty layer can be improved using the architectural sequence. Principles to governance to measurement to decision to loyalty layer. I will cover the details in separate videos, so each part can be explained more clearly, more accessibly, and one section at a time. Every product, service, or system needs principles and standards. Those principles do not guarantee perfect results, but they make iteration more disciplined, measurable, and more likely to produce healthier outcomes over time. In my framework, healthy digital ecosystem begins with the four pillars of customer respect. First, respect the customer's time. A healthy digital ecosystem should help users get what they need quickly without unnecessary friction, distraction, or interruption. Second, respect the customer's resources. In open competitive markets, especially customer choice digital environment, users can compare, stay, switch, or leave. That means the digital touchpoint should run smoothly across a wide range of devices, from low-end to high-end, without wasting battery, storage, data, or processing power. Third, respect the customer's attention span. Prices, offers, and product descriptions must be honest, clear, and direct with what the user sees in a very short decision window. No hidden add-on costs, no misleading labels, and no ambiguity used to push short-term transactions at the expense of long-term trust. Fourth, respect the customer's level of understanding. The system should minimize friction and stay intuitive, so even non-expert users can complete tasks with confidence. When these four pillars are respected, the mobile app becomes a reliable daily tool instead of a frustrating digital burden. The second principle is fair exchange. In a healthy competitive market, customers stay not because they are trapped, but because they choose to stay. They trust the platform, feel their time and money are respected, and believe the product genuinely improves their life. No short-term extraction strategy can create real loyalty in that kind of market. The third principle is governed cognitive load. Human attention is limited, so digital ecosystems must control how much they place in front of the user at once. That is why governance matters. Navigation performance budgets, placement discipline, and one-in, one-out thinking to prevent feature sprawl. Your digital touchpoint, your mobile app, is often one of your most profitable channels because it can operate with better efficiency and less physical friction. That is why funnel conversion must be measured properly. But before any of that, instrumentation must exist. Without proper event schema, quality filters, and attribution hygiene, found percent and finished percent analysis is fiction. Once the instrumentation is in place, each module should be measured using found percent to finished percent. Of everyone exposed to the module, how many care enough to open it? And of those who open it, how many actually completed the main intended outcome? If a module does not define its performance goals, it should not earn a place in the app at all. These metrics should not be read in isolation. They must be interpreted by strategic intent, whether the module is a core service, commercial service, or extra engagement layer, and also by placement, maturity, and customer cohort. That includes separating new user traffic from existing user traffic, so the company can see whether initiatives are truly helping customer base growth instead of only recycling existing behavior. Then comes the decision matrix. Keep and amplify, fix, proof for one cycle, or park sunset if the module remains weak. Governance is not about adding more things forever. It is about ensuring that every feature earns its place. Once the digital ecosystem is healthy enough, then the engagement and loyalty layer can begin to deliver its real impact. That is where the brand starts to feel more memorable, more meaningful, more fair, and more worth returning to. But loyalty should not be treated as decorative points and prizes. In my second framework, loyalty without the bullshit, loyalty is something earned in a free market, not enforced. Customers always have the option to leave, which is why loyalty must keep creating value worth staying for. And the word fair in loyalty is a heavy word. It involves expected costs, gross margin, reward rules, and behavior design. In the end, it must protect mutual fair exchange. The company protects profitability and sustainable growth, while the customer feels genuinely appreciated for trusting their money, time, and attention to the brand. Reward should reinforce a real usage and core behavior, not become unrelated costs with no strategic return. That to me is the only real no bullshit path to customer loyalty. Give fair value with honesty, accountability, and discipline. Then earn the right for customers to come back by choice.